The great old US of A. One of the safest places in the world, right? No, you're just wrong. Like, no, it's not. Now I, a not so proud citizen of this absolute horror show of a nation, am naturally terrified of everything known to man. So naturally, when I go and plan my vacations for the year, I go and look at the different states and do a bunch of research as to why I would not want a vacation in those states. So this week I decided to compile my top 10 most dangerous states to go to, because if I tried to make one about how all 50 states are dangerous, we'd be here for a half hour and I don't want to do that. Anyway, subscribe so my parents don't think that I'm like just shouting nonsense up here and they think I'm actually doing something with my life. That'd be cool. Now at number 10 we have Arizona, and I know what you're thinking. Oh, Arizona is mostly a desert, so you're worried about like the scorpions or the snakes or whatever other wildlife could come get you in the desert. No, let me introduce you to my friend the Grand Canyon, also known as the Grand Gash, also known as Paul Bunyan's ass crack. I'm getting off track, but like how could you not fall into the Grand Canyon? Like what is stopping you from falling into the Grand Canyon? I think there's barriers, but like, what if you're just like slipping and falling? What if you're like on your way to the one Walmart in Arizona, because there's nothing else in Arizona, and you just accidentally, whoops, slip and fall into the Grand Canyon? Also, I know that a lot of people hike through the Grand Canyon, and I heard that there are stories of people throwing actual live explosives down into the Grand Canyon, and I just don't think that it's a safe place to be. And I don't know what else is in Arizona, so Arizona's going at number 10. Oh, also, they have like a really high crime rate or something, so it's kind of dangerous to be there. But what if you fall into the Grand Canyon? Now, at number 9, we have New Jersey, and I know what you're thinking. New Jersey should probably be higher on the list, and you're probably thinking that because of the misconceptions surrounding the mob and the mafia and their connections to New Jersey, which are not actually misconceptions. I'm pretty sure they're all true, but I don't want to talk about that. The reason that New Jersey is so dangerous is because of the drivers. Dear Lord, these people in New Jersey do not know how to drive. I swear, people from New Jersey drive like they had crack cocaine laced into their gabagool, or they're driving like my grandmother in the later stages of her life. But there's no in between. Also, you know, it's proximity to New York and New York City, just in case of like an impending nuclear attack or any other possible terrorist attack on the United States. None of this is important. Now at number 8, we've got Minnesota, and Minnesota is partially on the list because of its close proximity to Canada and the fact that everyone who's from Minnesota talks like they're from Canada, and I just kind of hate Canada. But the real reason that Minnesota is on the list is because they are home to the country's largest mall, the Mall of America. And if we know anything about malls, we know that one thing happens there a lot: shopping. Oh, also like crime, like shoplifting, and like so many shootings. And apparently like aliens now. Did you guys see the thing in Miami about the aliens at the Miami Mall? Like, is that real? I'm kind of worried about that. All right, so at number 7, we've got any Midwestern state. I just want you to look at a map of the Midwest and tell me how unpopulated these areas are. Like, that's terrifying to me. Like, you could run into like a chainsaw massacre-ist. That's what they're called, right? Or like a man-pig hybrid, or like an incest cannibal cult in the middle of the desert Midwestern forest nature. Oh, also aliens again, just because any Midwestern farmer claims they've seen aliens, because you know, like crop circles on their farm or whatever, like they all claim they've seen aliens, they've been probed by aliens, so just take my word for it, just the Midwestern states, just aliens, there's just aliens. And I just feel like it's super dangerous without the aliens, because I feel like that's the kind of place where like a mountain lion could just attack you in your backyard. Is that where mountain lions are? I don't actually, let's just say bears. Let's just say grizzly bears or something, like just bears. Coming in at number 6, we have New York City, which I know is not a state, but you, because it's so much different from New York State that it's insane. There's like a million reasons that New York City could be higher on this list, but to be honest with you, New York City doesn't get the recognition it deserves. That being said, the subways are gross, the people are inconsiderate, you can't really avoid crime in certain areas, and everyone is scary to talk to. Also, the California elite that like don't want to hang out in California, they end up just going to New York City and making everyone else around them who's struggling to live in like a 1-bedroom apartment feel even more poor than they already did. Also, did you hear about those tunnels they found? Coming in at number 5, we've got California, and you know if this state is this low, the next 4 are going to be absolute bangers. Between the fires, the inevitable earthquakes, and the Venice Beach boardwalk, I'm pretty sure that California falls into the category of states that are always trying to kill you in every way possible. Also, the Hollywood elite cult that was kind of worried about a certain list getting out a couple weeks ago lives there, and I feel like if you live there long enough, you're going to be inevitably sacrificed in one of their weird life-preserving rituals or something. Oh, also the fact that in 20 to 30 years, the entire state is basically going to sink into the water. Like, that's a thing, right? It's just going to, like, fall off of America. Like, that's been discussed. Then at number 4, we've got Vermont, which is the home of Noah Kahn and so many racists. Like, so many racially motivated hate crimes take place in Vermont. So let's look at the actual statistics real quick. In 2020, the amount of white people or people that identified as white only in America was 61%. Now, if we just look at Vermont real quick, that's 93% of people in Vermont that are just white. Like, if I was a minority and I was looking for places to go, Vermont would be the last place I would want to go. I mean, look at these crime rates and the sheer amount of like white supremacists and just rallies that they hold in the state. All right, at number 3, we have Alaska, because Alaska, similar to California, but in a much worse way, is basically the Australia of America. Everything is trying to kill you. I mean, without the high rate of homicides because of how spread out the population is, Alaska is actually really beautiful in the same way that poison ivy just wants a little kiss. Why else? Oh, fire! Because apparently that can just catch and spread like wildfire in Alaska, which confused me in doing research because I thought Alaska and Antarctica were the same thing growing up, and I thought Santa lived there, and it was all made of snow, so I was trying to confused about how it could just like light on fire, but apparently it's like beautiful forests and grassland up there where people are murdered and everything catches on fire. Also moose and grizzly bears, which are both animals that could tear your arms off and throw them around like little chew toys. Just don't go to Alaska. At number 2, we've got Hawaii, which is a beautiful place with a storied and rich culture that also doubles as an absolute death trap. I mean, you've got tsunamis at any point in time, volcanoes that are just laying dormant until they really feel like exploding, and then they just cover the entire islands in lava. And then you're also 5 hours away from any other part of America, at least. Like, sure, it's paradise if your paradise is constantly worrying and fearing that at any point in time your entire existence could be absolutely demolished by a big flow of lava from a volcano, while also simultaneously worried about, at any point, everything flooding from a tsunami, or both, and then being uncovered in, like, whatever the stone combination of that will be. Oh, and also, like, what's stopping Hawaii from just becoming Atlantis? Like, what's stopping it from just becoming completely submerged in water? Like, you just drown and die. Also, quick honorable mention to Georgia, because that's where the devil went down to, and I feel like if that's a song, it shouldn't be a place you want to go to. And I just felt like that was an honorable mention. Number 1, drumroll. Wow, who could have thought? It's Florida. Felt like everyone kind of saw this one coming between the alligator attacks and also pretty much everyone in Florida being, you know, Florida guys. Also, Disney World. That shit is scary. I feel like I shouldn't have to get into that. Just trust me on that. Like, it's just scary. On top of that, I just feel like I need to really stress the point about the alligators a little bit more. Like, there's just alligators walking around in Florida that could just, like, bite someone's leg off, or, like, kill humans, or, like, eat a baby. And, like, what happened if an alligator wandered into Disney World? Like, what kind of chaos would that cause? And how awful would that be? Oh, and finally, any state who has a guy running their state who looks like a wax figure version of himself is not a state I'd want to go to or live in. All right, so that's it. My top 10 most dangerous states to live in or travel to. I don't really know. I just wanted to rag on a bunch of states, to be honest. Thanks for watching this week's Stop in the Knowledge Corner. Remember to leave a like and comment below what your favorite state is that you live in, and maybe like the last 4 digits of your social security number, and like your mother's maiden name, and like the name of your first pet.